We thought that out, people. Okay.
Yes, we did.
It
We
wasn't.
like it.
It wasn't an accident. Okay, we were.
That's
We were
right.
actually funny people here. We wanted to display that through our intro music.
That's right.
Now you know. I think
right.
they say it makes it less funny if you have to describe it or explain it. But what can you do?
It's just
What
where we're
can
at.
you do?
We're
Okay.
developing our comedy.
Yeah. So this is the Making College Come True radio show brought to you by, I want to think it's safe to say, one of my favorite schools, Tucson International Academy, a network of schools rather, because they're all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. And I am Pastor John McClain of Veteran Rest Commission. If you haven't heard about it, Google it. And I am here with, you ready for this? Yep. I'm here with I don't know how this lady isn't nationally famous already, but she will be, with the superintendent of Tucson International Academy to start. One, boom.
Yay!
A former Tucson Unified School District educator,
Yes, sir.
a graduate of the University of Arizona.
Yes.
I hear that's a pretty popular thing.
2 times.
Two times. Man, double time. Yeah, boom, boom.
Yeah.
There we go. Graduation. You get a graduation. You get a graduation. And then she is also an author of a published book called Making College Come True, 10 Keys to Success, even though, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot more keys than that in that little piece of goodness.
That's great.
Yeah. And then the host, the newest talk show radio host in the city of Tucson. I mean, it's just huge. Of the host of Making College Come True radio show. This is Dr. Jennifer Herrera. Dr. J in the house.
Dr. J in the house. Yeah.
Man, just making big things happen. And then, as you were telling me, you were nominated to speak at an event. Tell us more about that little ditty before we talk about anything else. Let's give Dr. J her due because she's working hard for us.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm excited because it's pretty new to me, but this conference exists. It's called Global Forum for Education and Learning. And it's about, I don't know how many people, looks like several thousand people gather for the conference, and it's from all over the world. Sometimes I have it overseas, but this year happens to be in good old Las Vegas.
Nice.
So, and I got chosen as a top 100 visionary in the world for education.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome.
Good
I was
job.
excited.
Top 100?
Yes.
Yeah, they mean top 1. That's what
Yeah.
they meant.
Well, thank you.
They just put the other people on the list because they're like, we don't want to show that Dr. J's monopoly on creativity. So you guys can come too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good
I'm
job.
excited.
Top 100?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm very touched, very
Yeah,
honored.
that's
It's just
good
fun,
job.
and the thing is, it's really run by people who aren't American. So it's like they found me on the internet, which I like. I think
Love
that's
it.
neat, and they were curious to see what we're doing, how we're doing what we're doing, and I think a common ground like education, that is an issue that is part of every person's life in the world. The whole world does deal with education.
Yeah.
And so, and the
Wow.
different ways to do it and the different needs for their country. So that's how the system, the education system is designed. And there's a lot of things American schools do differently because it fits actually the values of our nation. So as our nation's values change, so does education change. So it's really fun. For me, I
That
enjoy
almost sounds
studying
like
that.
a presidential speech there. And I was thinking, like, as you were saying it, and it's happened to Veteran Rescue Commission on several occasions, when people reach you out of nowhere like that, it's like a huge thing. It's just like, God, you sneaky God, okay, you're good, you. Yeah. So well done, man. God's
always,
certainly looking out for you.
I always
Awesome.
tell God, show off.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love it. Keep showing off.
Yeah, keep doing it. Awesome.
I will be the recipient. I will happy
good.
to do it. But it's so much fun to get involved in education because really you can have very far-reaching, abilities. Just because you may have an idea that spurs the idea of somebody else who then goes to their nation and changes it.
Yeah.
And some of the things I do at Tucson International Academy, I got the idea by doing my dissertation on language reading and culture around the world. And I studied and did a case study specifically on the small nation of Aruba, 19 square miles. That's not very much space, and 4 languages. And
That's
4
wild.
languages with that many people. And then they are doing their education education in the fourth least used language of all of those. What? So 2% of the kids there speak Dutch, but they give their education in the language of Dutch. So if you're a 5-year-old who not even heard Dutch, what are you learning? Not much. So that was an issue, and so I got to study it from the inside out.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I love it. We're gonna talk about that on pretty much the whole second half of the show, and
that's
this
awesome.
First part, we're gonna talk with that little whispery voice you hear in the background. All cool. He's like, I've called him on several occasions. The Fonzie, the Mexican Fonzie, because he's just so cool. He is the epitome of cool. And he's my co-host on the Common Good Radio Show, and he is also the commandeer, the grand poobah of I Believe in Myself coaching. So those out there, if you're having troubles believing yourself, if you need a coach, if you're looking to get to that next level, and you need somebody to help you do it in the most beautiful way one could do it, this man's a man to do it. Thank you for being in studio with us, Andres.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this. This is always, I love this time together. It's like, it's not even studio time. This is like family time, just hanging out time.
Yeah.
That's what it is, really.
This is what they mean when they say, pick something that you love and do it for the rest of your life, and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We are living that.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to, like, this work that I do, I'm going to do it until I'm 100. Like, I'm never going to retire, because this is my purpose. This is my mission. And there's nothing else that I would love to do. Like, today I had a session with the client, and, she's doing so well. She's writing her book. She is starting a podcast. She's starting so many amazing things. I'm so proud of her. Just when I was talking to her, I was like, wow, you're doing so amazing. You're getting this book like done like that. And it's just that little push that, like, she's doing it, but I'm just so grateful for my clients. I love them all.
And if I know me and just like, you got me into coaching a little bit too, just people, that little bit is all it takes. Like, she may be writing the whole book just to get that little comment. Just to have you say, good job. Oh, okay, good. I got the good job. But
that's right.
Box checked.
Boom. When you say that reminds me of how, I told a lot of my clients, I believe in you. And then they tell me, you have no idea how much that means to me. And sometimes I don't. I just tell, I believe in you. Like, I see something special in you. And then they tell me, nobody's ever told me that. And I'm talking like 40, 50-year-old people that nobody's ever told them that they believe in them. That simple phrase, it touches their heart. I've had grown men cry when I'm telling them, like, you have something special, man. You have that it factor. And they're like, wow, you're getting me emotional, like, just by telling me that. And when you do that to, like, even a grown man, if you can do that, like, that's what really, like, gives me goosebumps. That's what gets me so motivated, inspired to keep doing what I'm doing.
Beautiful.
Tony Robbins would say that's the juice.
That's the juice.
That's the juice.
Nice. Well, this is the Making College Come True radio show. Brought to you by we're making college come true in these parts, and it's brought to you by Tucson International Academy. If you have not gone to TucsonInternationalAcademy.com, I'm sorry for you. Check it out. If you have a child K through 12 and you want them to go to college, register them in this school is your best bet. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to say I'm biased here, but I've heard a lot about this school. And they're kind of got a special philosophy for getting kids into school. I heard something about 100% of them. And I'm Pastor John McClain, the babbling voice that you hear here, in a very good mood because I'm just so blessed by God, I suppose, would be the reason if we had to have one. And I am joined by the Superintendent of Tucson National Academy, the author of the book, Making College Come True, and the host of the radio show, Making College Come True radio show, named Dr. Jennifer Herrera. Man, it is a lot of work for you to even get to all those titles. Man, I have to say them. Goodness, I feel sorry for you. You had to earn them. And then in studio, we have the man himself. Okay, not the man, like we were told, but the man of I Believe in Myself, someone who is, if you're not inspired yet, he can certainly help you get inspired. He's with I Believe in Myself coaching. Before we left, we told him Actually, over the break, we told him we're gonna play 7 questions to find out why Andreas does not go to college.
Oh.
So, Dr. J, you take over on the 7 questions.
Wow.
For Andreas
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, number 1. Okay. So, Andreas, have you ever thought of going to college?
Yes, I have.
Yeah? What did you decide about that?
I actually went to college for about a year and a half. I went to Pima.
Okay.
And then
Excellent.
yeah, and then I started taking like the basics, and then I thought I wanted to be a dentist, and really I just didn't want to. And then I dropped out. And then I just gave up on it.
Yeah, I've been there so many times. I've been there like 3 or 4 times. I didn't take the same route as Dr. J, or I'm not taking the same route.
I know, yeah.
As Dr. J, where I started, ended. So.
And you know what it was? It was a lack of discipline, a lack of wanting to take responsibility. I didn't want to take responsibility for my life. I felt like I was comparing myself constantly with the people, like family, friends who were doctors, lawyers, engineers, and then I would hear them say, yeah, it took me 8-10 years, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, that would scare me. And then I'd say to myself, I don't want that responsibility. But then because I didn't take that responsibility, I suffered some consequences. So this is why, like, for people who are listening who, just never wanted to go to college or do anything, like, there are some consequences that that you'll face if you don't go to college, or if you just don't have like a vision like for your future. So I suffered because of that. I'll say that.
Well, you probably didn't have a big enough why.
No,
that's
didn't.
one of you and I both have studied Tony Robbins and with the coaching industry, and really any human being is not going to follow through on something that they don't have a big enough why for. Like people who just get married and they just don't even nurture the relationship, and then it divorces, or things happen. And a lot of times, I probably used the wrong example, but a lot of times things just happen. But on some occasions, somebody severely just didn't have a reason why big enough. Like, I value, commitment. I value, family life, and I believe, I want to be there with one partner that blah, blah, blah. But you got to have a big why. And if you don't have those values, that's okay. Just acknowledging that your value system doesn't go that way, and it helps you avoid, like, the 8 and 10 year drudgery, of, oh my God, it took 8 to 10 years to be this. No, I'm not doing that. So that's understandable. So, for college, once you kind of dropped out or decided, you know what, I'm just going to stop for now. But something must have caught your way. So after you saw college was not leading where you wanted, where did you start to feel like there's a need out there, and I think I'm going to head that direction? Like, what caught your eye? So what was your path?
So my path was, I was at a job that I hated because obviously I didn't have any education or anything like that. So I was working at jobs that I hated. And then I listened to an audio by the great Les Brown, said, many people will leave the universe without a trace, and under their name you can put not used up. And I said, whoa, that's me. I'm not being used up. So then I started listening to these audios, and I said, who are these people? Like, is this like some type of, like, I don't know, what was it? Like, and I just kept listening, and I was so motivated. I stopped watching TV. I stopped watching football. I stopped watching basketball, and just started like on this personal development journey. And Les Brown was the one that really inspired me, because I heard him say, I don't have a high school diploma. I only have a high school diploma, and I'm speaking to like these big companies and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, so just because I don't have a college degree doesn't mean that I can't succeed. Like, I can still do some great things. So I kept going on this journey. I kept doing this stuff, like listening to audios. And then, I decided to do stand-up comedy. So I was telling everybody, like, quite the trace I wanted to leave behind, right? Be a comedian. So then I really sucked as a comedian, I'll be honest. So
Really?
I just keep it real, yeah. And then
funny.
But no, back then I was not that funny. I guess
you're funny, but it's actually, I don't know, something actually my psychology teacher taught me once. Certain people aren't perceived as funny if they're too good looking. So
there you go.
I would suspect that was the case with you. No, really, you're a really good-looking guy. Like, I don't know. I mean, like,
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I'm a straight man, but like that aside,
thanks, man.
You work out. You can tell. I appreciate that. So that's why you're not funny. But go on with the story.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You were too kind, man. So then I then was told about Toastmasters. And then when I joined Toastmasters, they told me you're going to be a better comedian. I joined Toastmasters. I became a better comedian. But then I said, you know what? Comedy is cool, but there's like, it's kind of sad sometimes. Like the people that were around, no judgment, much love to them. But I said, you know what? I want to be a motivational speaker. And I still remember one time watching a motivational speech on that big stage at the VA. And I said to Fred Springer, I was like, Fred, one day I'm going to be on that stage. And then no lie, 3 months later, I was competing on that very same stage. And, it's like, we become what we think about. And I saw myself on that big stage. So I started giving those speeches, and then I met Jennifer, which, I fell in love with her speech immediately as soon as I heard that Billboard speech. And then I talked to her and I asked her, I wanted to speak to students. And I said, I want to speak to students. She's like, really? Oh, so do you want to come speak to our school? And I'm like, okay. And she's like, how much do you charge? And I'm like, you want to pay
money?
Me? Like, money? No way. You want to pay me? And I'm like, 160 or something. Like, I just threw out a number, and she's like, oh, that's very low. Wow.
That's 37 cents exactly.
Yeah.
I will take a penny less.
Yeah. No, and I was like, okay, she wants to pay me. So then, I got started on that journey.
Awesome.
She brought me in, and, like, ever since I've been working with her, and, I have so much love for her. She's been so good to me. Like, I really appreciate you for that. And, I've been doing that, and then started doing coaching. People would ask me, hey, how'd you become a speaker, comedian, and all that stuff? Started coaching, kept doing that, and, just been on that journey ever since, and.
Well, I think we're about 3 questions in. If you're game, I say we do another segment and finish this out. What do you think?
Can you stay?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh my God,
good.
yeah,
All
you guys
right.
are killing
More
me here.
fun. More
Well,
fun.
we got more fun for you after
Grilling
this break.
Andres.
I know. Yeah, they're really grilling me.
I'm sorry about it to put you on the spot like this. I still love
Oh
you.
man, yeah.
This is the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I'm
good.
Pastor John McClain here with Dr. J, and we're making Andrea
I know, you
Cherise
guys are
turn
making me
red.
sweat.
I'm sorry, bud. Yeah.
Water.
And we'll be back right after these messages.
Put it on my head.
Era of many titles, definitely the Superintendent of Tucson International Academy and the author of the book Making College Come True. And you're hearing it right with your own ears. She's the host of the Making College Come True radio show.
Yahoo.
You're
I
bringing
love
that
it.
noise,
It's fun.
man. We're just
Too fun.
You're too good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know if we're feeding off each other's energy. I'm feeding off your energy, but
It's you're
you're bringing it.
mutual.
Yeah, we're bringing it. And let's finish the red hot seat that Mr. Ruiz over here is sitting on. And he was ending off at his experience with going through coaching and that. So let's just pick up from there and take it away.
Oh, okay. So we were talking about if you had thought of going to college. You said yes, and you did actually go, but you dropped out. Probably didn't have big enough a why, which certainly makes sense because it's hard to do a difficult task if you don't have that big, huge why. But you found another form of education. You started self-development journey, and you went through several programs of Tony Robbins. You were an avid student of Les Brown and other gurus out there. I mean, there is a lot of good stuff out there. So so back to drilling down about interest in college. So we did about 3 questions, and so what we were saying is 7 questions, you can get to some sort of a consensus point.
Yeah.
So another question I would say is, what did you find fulfilling about the education you got through the mentors, and was there ever a point where you would have liked to have maybe delved a little deeper, but they just didn't have the material out, so you just went on to something else?
Yeah. So pretty much like
that's a good question. You're good. I like you.
I know
lady.
education.
I like you a lot. Yeah.
I love education.
So some of the stuff that I learned through my mentors, like for example, like with Tony Robbins, and I learned about business a little bit, and not so much like just like the business, the finance, and all stuff, but more of like the psychological part of business. You know, how to have those soft skills. One of my greatest mentors, I would say, was my grandfather when it comes to soft skills, and my dad and my mom, like they have great communication skills, and they just really know how to be kind and be very like great listeners. And just overall, like my father, if you meet him, you know, he'll immediately start a conversation. Hey, how you doing? And like he knows how to really conversate with people. And my mother, you know, she's just I'm still scared of my mom, just to let you know. 'Cause, you know, my mom, man, she's scary sometimes. You know, I'm kind of like, you know, okay, mom, yeah, whatever you say, you know. But I learned a lot from her just to really be an honest person and just to be a very kind person as well. My grandfather, just like an amazing man. So I've had a lot of great mentors in my life throughout the years that have helped me out in just the, like, I guess the soft skills. I really learned a lot. And in you know, like Les Brown, all this stuff, like they taught me how to be more confident. I think I gained skills that are very have helped me out tremendously to get somewhere that maybe not just anybody who has a high school diploma would get to, because it takes a lot of, the soft skills are very important. I learned that, you know, they can get you to places that you never thought possible, because I would always tell myself, base my worthiness on not having a college education. I would always compare myself to people and tell myself I'm not good enough. But then I heard these mentors telling me, you know what? You might not have a college degree, but you do have something special. You have greatness within you. You have these amazing talents. I would go to MLM companies. They would tell me, hey, you have something special, man. I believe in you, man. I see something in you. Like, and I was like, really? Like, do you really see that in me? Like, you're lying.
Yeah, you just say that.
You just say that type of thing. And, but then little by little, I started seeing that a lot of people were attracted to my energy, and they would tell me, you have the special energy that I don't know how to explain it, but you make me feel happy just being around you. As soon as I met you, like, I felt like you had me at hello type of thing. Like, you remember Tony when he said that. So those are the things.
From what I'm
learned.
hearing, it sounds like you're just my simple ears hearing business you're interested in what you learn from them. Communication was something you're interested in. Advertising and marketing was something that you're interested in that you learned from them. And all those things I just mentioned, I'm sure Dr. J as well. We've taken classes of those, and just simply those classes, like just that one class. There's several of that one class that I've taken that's just like, man, that class really changed my life.
Yeah,
like, particularly
that's what education does.
Yeah, like
know,
on the Common Good radio show,
up.
that logic class I was talking about, that's changed my life. To be able to look at words in an algebraic form.
Yes.
Next level.
Yeah.
Well, when you say that, one thing that you have told me about is learning more about business, like finances, and you know, making sure that I know what I'm doing when it comes to that, and making sure that I learn that, because I think that is something that I am needing some assistance with. So if I were to go to college, then there'd probably be that, you know, like business, maybe.
You know, because
business management. So maybe now we're getting to the root, I guess. You know, so
this is how it happens.
Yeah. So that's something that definitely I can see myself doing, and so I can learn just how to better manage my business, and because I'm not perfect. I do have my.
You're not perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy it this time.
You know, even a major like communications. That's not necessarily business. It's not necessarily theater, but it is communication, which every single industry requires communication. And so I know somebody.
You, like, I would say more business than communication, or more communications than business, because you're a communicator. You're not a salesman necessarily. Like, you're not trying to pitch anything. You have this gift of, like, everybody loves you, and you're just like love everybody.
And also able to call people on their things so that they don't just get to continue to lie to themselves. You know, I've seen you do that. And that's very powerful.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had a friend from my hometown, and we're from, you know, Podunk City, you know, from Brookville, Indiana, very small town. And one of the friends of our family went to college with us. We all went to Ball State University, and he was a bit older than me. He grew up and he got a communications major. And we used to tease him and say, what are you going to do? Write good love letters to all your girlfriends? You know, we were so mean. And you know what the guy did? He went out and got a top position with Merck. Merck Company.
Wow. Okay.
Which Merck has gone through several morphs. You know, they are big pharma, but they are taking a different twist. And I'm telling you, I know my my college friend was a part of the shift Merck is making, and he is a top dog in that company.
Wow.
And they are making good choices, in my opinion.
Payback from all the hazing you guys did back in the day.
But
that
you
was
know
his
what?
drive then.
That's his. Well, yeah, and it's his communication skills.
Tucson International Academy, also known as Dr. J in the streets. I think I'm a little sad. Look at you. I don't have you there to laugh and cheer me up. All right, we're gonna do it without him, Dr. J. What do you think?
I know.
Because I got too many
But
questions
thank you,
to
man.
ask you. All right, peace, brother. Love you, man. Too many questions to ask you about
Sure.
making college come true. And we talked about it a little bit on, I think, part of the Common Good radio show. We just had so much other good stuff to talk about during that show. But let's get centered. Let's find our chi, and then let's kind of start with this. What can a student expect when attending, and when, like, particularly, I'm Johnny Q. Let's say I'm a 9th grader, and I'm like, Mom, I want to go to this Tucson International Academy. I heard it was really cool. Like, what can he expect when he walks in the door?
Well, one thing he can expect is that he will be known. He won't be just a number or just a name on a roster. And we get to know our students very well because we really value allowing them time and certain exercises to really discover things they might be interested in. So, just finding that problem in the world that really bothers them. Like, it bothers me about homelessness. It bothers me about people who want to commit suicide. But what really bothers me is people who desire an education and think it's unattainable. That bothers me. And that's the thing that I want to act upon. And it's just my skill set. And it's for me because it's so easy. And, it's just one of those things where whatever it is that bothers you the most is probably a great indicator of what you're called to do.
I never considered that. And it's cool. I mean, more and more I think about it, more and more I learn about Tucson International Academy, and it's built in with you guys. I mean, not only you're kind of like you're one of the top tier is making college come true for the students in your school, but you guys have this entrepreneur program.
Yes,
So,
I love that too.
Yeah, and certainly being an entrepreneur since I was 13 years of age, it's certainly been near and dear to my heart. And I've just known, what financial independence has been as a little kid, because like you're saying, without even realizing as a little kid, I just leaned into what I cared about, or what, and what I knew, and what is what you care about.
Right.
So yet I didn't even realize that connection until 37 years of age here on the radio show with you right now.
I love it.
So tell more about that. And just like, Johnny Q, he's there, he's sitting there in front of you, and you're kind of like you were doing with Andreas here, kind of trying to explore what he cares about. Like, what does that process look like as he's going through it?
One of the things I love to do is the first day that once school starts and the kids are present there physically, it's harder to do online for whatever reason, but in person you have a lot of that energy connection, and you can on Zoom as well, but my favorite is to be in person and to be authentic. Nobody's got a half of an outfit on, or it's just like you're yourself. You're bringing your whole self to the conversation. And I like to just start conversations, and I will often use the older kids that have been with me for a number of years and already had a lot of questions asked before I will ask them, so where are you at with your project on saving the whales? Did your grandpa, he knows the fleet chief. Did they make that change that you guys were advocating for, that you were, writing petitions for? Oh, yeah, you should see what happened. And so you want to bring pictures tomorrow? Yeah, I'll bring pictures. And then the next day you just make sure you followed up and get to celebrate those pictures. So here's this 9th grader going, what the heck? What? He impacted the whaling organization? What? That's why I like what you did. You changed 13 laws with your time on the streets, which probably was not a fun time, but look at the good you were able to bring out of it. If you have to go through suffering, you might as well turn something good for it. And I mean, what an example that is, what you did.
Thank you.
Helping with houseless vets and getting that road cleared so that they can have an outlet when they're ready.
Yeah, I wish I would have had a school like Tucson International Academy within reach when I was a kid. And I love Hamilton High School when I went to school, or even Bogle Junior High where I went to school in Chandler, Arizona. But it was school.
Yeah.
It was this class. It was the
A little vanilla.
yeah. It was it just this class, that class. Learn what I learned. I certainly, if there would have been an entrepreneur program in my school, I maybe would have created Facebook or Google or.
You wouldn't believe the projects the kids come out with.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I've met at least one or two of your students who are just, these guys are rock stars.
Yeah, they are.
I wish I would have had someone like you in my life or a school like yours within my reach. Thankfully, I do now. So
that's
we're doing
great.
cool stuff.
Yeah, and there's so much more we can do. That's what I look forward to.
Mhm.
And I think we get together for a reason. Like, we found each other, not by coincidence.
Yeah.
So I love that part. But that's how I like to get it started. Just like letting a more experienced student who's had a few successes share those. And it just piques their interest. They're like, what? They impacted the whaling industry? What? I can't even believe I'm saying the word whaling industry. They're just challenged, and either they're all in or they're way turned off and they'll go to another school. So, and for us, we're okay with that. We know we're not the school for everybody, but we're pretty intense. So it means how we just did to Andres, putting him on the spot. We'll occasionally do that with a student that will allow it, and we always watch for signs when it's, when we need to back off. But that hot seat is what prepares you for life. Because how many times have we known you're in the hot seat? You need to have an answer, and it better be a good one. And you need to know when to laugh it off, and you need to know when to be quiet and just put your head down. You have to know how to respond to life circumstances. And so we try to give a lot of common sense, which isn't so common today. And we try to help kids think about what they're saying and doing and not just go through the motions. And the good news is a charter school, parents have to drive them there. We don't have a bus. So it's not automatic. Somebody has to make an effort to get that child to the school. So we tell the parents, use that time, turn off the radio, collect their phones, and talk all the way to school and all the way home. You can find out what your child is thinking, what they love, what they don't love. And we give experiences. That's what, in my opinion, really makes a difference. We create experiences, common experiences as a community at a school, and then we take them on international trips and national trips as well to have an experience elsewhere. And then by that, you start to really build some strong relationships, friendships, business potential partnerships later, and things like that, because they've had these experiences. And so that experiential learning is somebody who's a freshman, a ninth grader, who's sitting there going, whaling industry, what? They also will have an experience, because we have like weeks, like we'll assign a week for projects. What difference could you make in the world? What all organizations are out there trying to make a difference? What kind of difference are they making? And then we let them like kind of debate and talk about what's more important. And in the end, they find out each person feels one thing is more important than another, but nobody's answer is correct. Everything is important, but there's different individuals, and we respect their differences because they are the ones that are going to solve that problem. I don't have to solve houselessness. I got you. I don't have to solve coaching. I got Andres.
And I don't have to solve making college come true.
That's
we got
right.
you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm your person.
Absolutely.
So that's how we deal with it. We really try to put boots on the ground, real life scenarios, real life situations. When it started in kindergarten, we used to sponsor a whale. We'd get the kids to all bring in $1, and it was $25, and you could send it to the Whale Institute, and then they would send us a package. And when we got the package, we'd all gather around on the carpet, and we'd say, "Oh my God, we got our whale! Let's see what our whale looks like, the one we're sponsoring." And then you open the package, and everybody gets to tear a little bit, and then we, ta-da! Here's our whale, and each whale's fins are different. So like if a whale is coming up out of the water, when he goes back in, they try to catch a picture of his fin, because that's like a fingerprint. It's that different.
Interesting.
And so that's how scientists have in the past denoted who was who. And we get assigned one, and then they, of course, shoot it with some sort of a tracking device. And now that $25 gives, in the day, it's probably like $2,000 now, but it's a long time ago. But that's how I got excited about projects, because I knew nothing about whales, but my student teacher had us do that project, and I saw 5-year-olds get ignited for a difference they can make in the world for that whale. $1 each. I mean, wow. If I can make a difference just with $1, what could I do if I had 10? And as a 5-year-old, they can think that. They can make those leaps and bounds. Yes, they're little, and yes, they can't just go out and start a business on that, but it's seed. It's seed for the future. It's seed for what they might harvest later in their heart towards creation.
Well, that's awesome. And we have 2 more minutes. I think that'd be cool, whether for John Q, ninth grader, or just kind of like the public to know, the adjustments that you've made around COVID-19 and why they should feel safe. Because you guys have kind of been the trendsetters.
Well, it's it's a work in progress, right? If you want to believe in anything about the COVID-19 situation, you can find it. So, but for us, we understand that as a public school, we are obligated to follow the laws of the land. And the laws of the land do say we must have a mask. So that's another business lesson. If you want to play the game, if you want the right to educate children, you must play by the rules. And if the rule says everybody wears a mask, everybody wears a mask. And that's enforced, and that's publicized everywhere. So that's one thing I can say you will get at our schools. Whatever the mandates are, we do follow them. Would we challenge them? Only if it were something horrific, and that has not happened in 19 years of having the schools. But I just love what I do, but that's such a minor thing. You need me to put a mask on, I'll put a mask on. You need me to do this, I'll do that. That's fine. As long as it doesn't cross some moral boundary, and it never has, thank God. So, at our school you will find that we follow what the guidelines are. You will also find that we're not going to be overly fearful. You will be able to engage in education. We will sit next to you with both of our masks on, and we will help you understand that algebraic word problem.
Well, awesome.
So you have us.